Welcome to another episode of the Stephen and Joe Show. We were thinking about the 12 days of Christmas, so I thought I'd do the 12 movies of Christmas. So we can only have movies that have the number from 1 to 12 in the title, but we can't use sequels. Altering the words can't happening too much. Only one movie per franchise. This actually posed quite a bit of a challenge and find films that not only fit this, but that I either have watched or would like to watch. That brings us on to 5.
Okay.
And immediately I thought of The Fifth Element.
Yeah, Fifth Element's a good film.
Because although Lucy was not what most people were hoping for.
No, Luc Besson's
still fantastic.
was everything that he does has this style to it, and it's very good. Bruce Willis is fantastic in it as well, and it's just fun.
Milla Jovovich is just amazing in it as well, and there's a lot of action, there's a lot of drama, and it's just a very colourful film. In a time where a lot of action films were greys and browns,
right?
Suddenly it's blues and oranges.
It's blues and oranges, and it's bright and it's really good. And it's a recommended one, I think. Okay.
And The Hobbit: Battle of the Five Armies.
Yeah, I think you could probably have. You could have that because we haven't got any other Hobbit.
Unless
we say Lord of the Rings. Is that all one thing?
It's difficult.
Is technically The Hobbit is the prequel?
It's difficult. I would say The Hobbit's more of a kids' film than the Lord of the Rings film were. So
possibly.
I separate out in that way.
Okay.
And also I found it really difficult to find films with 5 in it. Without resorting to things like 5, the film of the band 5.
Right.
Which is I'm not going to do.
Yeah. No, that's not a good idea. Was that all you had for 5?
It really is all I had for 5.
Wow.
5 was really hard. 6 wasn't much better.
Right.
Because, and now moving on to 6, Sixth Sense.
Yes.
Immediately comes to mind, which, although it is amazingly overhyped.
If you'd seen it, I didn't get a chance to see The Sixth Sense, but because I was working at Blockbuster at the time, and somebody walked in and said, "Oh, that Sixth Sense is out, isn't it? Isn't that the one where he..."
Spoilers, by the way.
Spoilers.
But if somebody does that to you when it's just been released
on DVD, it was the day of the release. I hadn't had a chance to take it home and see it yet.
Horrible.
And I've been waiting for it for ages.
So many sins have just been committed by doing that. Spoilering is a sin.
It is.
I maintain this.
Unless the film's very old.
Yes.
Or crap.
Bad, yeah. Well, that's the thing. I don't think Sixth Sense was as good as everybody hyped it up to be at the time.
No, I don't think any of his films are actually, but
The Sixth Sense is a good film.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. It's well done.
You can't say anything that bad about it because was popular and people liked it, and it fulfilled the role that it set out to fulfill. So,
and now Haley Joel Osment back in acting,
apparently,
weirdly.
Yes.
So strange.
There's so many things that are happening at the moment where I keep thinking, is it still the 1990s?
I did think of 6 Days and 7 Nights.
Yes.
Which is another one which I haven't seen.
I can only think
comment on it.
Is it 60 Days of Summer? But it's got a 6 in it, but it's 60, so it doesn't.
So I delved into the future a little bit.
Right.
Because the Sinister 6 comes out in 2016.
Oh, it does, yes. Yeah.
Which is very exciting.
I'm reserving judgment until we see anything from it.
I think it's going to be good.
It should be.
I can't help but not think that. It's just...
It should be amazing. It really should.
It should be cool.
We'll see.
Now, 7 was kind of easy because 7. 7's a fantastic movie.
There's something about it. It just grabbed me when it first came out, and I just thought that's brilliant. Why aren't more films like this made? Then they made Saw, and then you think, oh, that's why more films like this aren't made.
Yeah, that's the thing. 7. A part of me wants to say 7 was more subtle than Saw. I don't know that it was.
I think it was. I think it was because I think Saw is more graphic.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Sort of jumps out at me and says Saw is a bit more graphic.
I suppose with 7, you're seeing the aftermath.
Yeah.
And your mind is left to piece together what happened.
Yes.
And how it all unfolded. And I think it also helps that 7 is just amazingly acted. You've got just a phenomenal cast.
Yeah.
Acting their socks off.
Morgan Freeman's big.
Amazing. Brad Pitt and Kevin Spacey.
Oh, God, yes, of course.
Just
Kevin Spacey.
Constantly hitting such good marks and playing off each other so well. And I swear throughout the film you just see them upping their game.
You think they're sort of playing off one another as well, which actually it does make the film really good that you've got these two people that can do that.
And it's also just as Brad Pitt's kind of rising out of that heartthrobby vein he was in for a while. And it's sort of this is around, I think it's around the same sort of time as Meet Joe Black.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, where he's been doing sort of romance
Very
roles
similar
for a
sort of
while.
thing. And a lot of, I didn't rate him very much at the time, and that's the film where you go, yeah, he can really act, he can really do it.
Exactly.
It's a bit like Catch Me If You Can with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yes.
It's that one film where you go, yeah, that's a good actor.
Magnificent Seven.
Magnificent Seven's great.
Which is amazing.
The Seven Golden Vampires is a Hammer horror film, which is kind of based a little bit on the Magnificent Seven.
Okay.
Which is it was made back in the 70s. It's I don't know if it's the tale or the curse of, or it's something of the Seven Golden Vampires.
But it's something like Seven Golden Vampires.
Seven Golden Vampires in the it's pretty good actually.
Is it sort of cheesy Hammer horror in the best
It's cheesy
kind of
classic
way?
Hammer horror.
Amazing.
If you like Hammer, it's a great film to watch.
If you're going back, then I'm also going to go back. Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai.
Yes, which of course Magnificent Seven was based on.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Seven Samurai.
So there are three
black and
films
white,
that are all seven,
amazing.
but they're all kind of the same, but they're not the same. So,
Yeah.
In fact, if you watch them in order, you do Kurosawa first, and then you do Magnificent Seven, and then you do the Curse or whatever it is of the Seven Golden Vampires. That's the way to do it.
That would be weird.
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool to see the iterations being reinterpreted time after time. Yeah. Which I thought about 8mm, which I think is the shortest title. No, it's not quite the shortest title, but it's almost the shortest title on the whole list.
Okay.
Because it uses the number rather than the word.
8. Yeah.
So,
Again, kind of along the same veins as 7.
Dark,
very dark.
and Nick Cage doing serious.
One of the few films that I like Nick Cage in.
Yeah.
And actually, I compiled a list the other day. It's 8mm,
Yeah.
Con Air,
He is very
which
good.
I think is
in
very
Con
good.
Air.
Yeah.
It's silly, but it suits him.
And the 2 National Treasure films.
Okay.
And The Sorcerer's Apprentice.
I haven't seen that yet.
It's really good.
It's actually really good.
Yeah,
Okay,
I really
cool.
enjoyed it. Yeah. But then that's kind of my thing.
The thing is, Con Air and The Rock, to me, go hand in
Yes,
hand.
I suppose they do.
Like-
I suppose it's just that Con Air, he's the one on the front cover.
True.
So it just always reminds me of that whenever I see the front cover. It's just because it's him in it. You know?
And in The Rock, he is just outacted by Sean Connery throughout the entire film.
Yeah. Very true. Very true.
Eight-Legged Freaks.
Yes, brilliant spider film.
It's modern B-movie.
Yeah.
It is the way I feel about it. Just Eight-Legged Freaks is just such a fun film.
There's that and Arachnophobia.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen it yet, it's a fairly new film, Big Ass Spider. Is hilarious. It's got the guy who was the cop in Heroes in it, Greg Grunberg, his name is, who's a good drummer as well. And him and Al Murray, both brilliant drummers.
Weird.
Yeah. But he plays this exterminator, and there's a big spider which turns into a bigger spider, which turns into a bigger spider, and he's hunting it down. And it's kind of funny, and it's just this B movie that's actually done really well for itself. It's really good.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, I think it was on Netflix. I'm not sure if it still is.
And I know I keep jumping into the future, and it hasn't happened yet. But Hateful Eight is out next year.
Hateful Eight is out next
And
year.
I'm
Despite Tarantino saying he wouldn't do it.
Yeah, for the first time in a while, I'm worried about.
Really?
Yeah, I am concerned that Hateful Eight is gonna.
Do you think that's going to be the one that?
I'm worried it might just be an unintelligible mess. I feel like making this for myself, and it doesn't actually make sense to anyone.
I didn't read the script when it was released or anything. I have no idea what it's about other than.
I would have felt kind of disrespectful reading it.
I would have felt bored reading it. It's a script. You're not meant to read scripts. You're meant to see them when they're on the screen. You know.
Good point.
So yeah, it won't give you a sort of full idea of what's actually going to happen with it.